Hi,
Okay.
my name is Tej. I am 66 years old. Sorry, I am 66 years young. I love planes, but I have never flown them. Leave aside making any. Yeah, I have flown the planes in simulator, but not elsewhere. My son-in-law, he introduced me to the simulation, flight simulator, and then to the RC plane making. He provided me with all the material, tools, cutting, grinding, and glue, whatever was required. Only he provided me with all the stuff. And it sure was a very challenging for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Because this was the first attempt, first try.
This was your first build.
Yeah, first build.
Okay. And it was my first flight test build. It was the first flight test plane I've built. I've built plenty of others, but not flight test planes. So let's talk about the actual plane
All
a
right.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the FliteTest Baby Blender. As you can see, it's a bi-wing plane, which means, of course, 2 wings. It's a 4-channel plane, which means it's got aileron, which is your moving surfaces on either wing, your elevator on the back, and rudder as well for your control. And the 4th channel being the throttle for the motor. Pretty challenging build.
Sure, it was pretty challenging. I was worried all the time I should ruin the Depron board by making any wrong cut.
And that's the thing. This plane, well, the plans that we got for the plane are actually for Dollar Tree foam board, which is available in the US, but is not available here in Australia. And of course, shipping from the US is too expensive, so we don't have that material available. What we do have is Depron. Now, Depron is a very rigid, very stiff foam, breaks very cleanly, so it's a great foam for modeling. But the problem with it is that
It's 5 mm thick, and I had to cut holes 6 mm.
That's right. The Depron is 6 millimeters thick, whereas the foam board that the plan is intended for is about 4.5 to 5 millimeters. So we had to modify the plans as we went. Everywhere that there were notches that fit together required extra work, so that was quite challenging.
And another part, bending the Depron board into a wing.
Yeah.
I started sweating.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. Now, the foam board in America has paper on both sides, and when you put a crease in it, it can be folded quite easily. Depron, on the other hand, as you saw, it's quite stiff and it doesn't bend easily. So we had a bit of a tough time with that, but we overcame it. The way that we did it was to make sure we laminate the entire surface. So we put clear packing tape, so this is just a film tape, over the entire surface that needed to be bent. So you can see here that this wing shape is actually just bent over Depron. The way to bend it is we put in the cut for the main, where the main bend is, yeah, and we beveled it inside. And then for these parts where on the plans it says to use a stick barbecue skewer and just create a depression and then bend it over, we found that we needed quite a bit of reinforcement on this side, so we needed to have the packing tape. On our first attempt, we did crack the wing in a couple of places because we didn't have the packing tape. We didn't have enough packing tape on it.
And the propeller too.
Well, yes, that's a different story. But so on the second wing, we got it right. We did put enough packing tape, and we made sure we really put in the score lines quite firmly and pre-bent those before we put the wing into its final shape.
But you took care of all the electronics?
Yeah, well, I thought that would be easy. Well, you did some soldering as well?
Yeah, I did some soldering because
soldering, that's the hard part.
Getting the experience of cutting the Depron and then bending it, I think it was too much for the one go.
Yeah. So the next one you can build from scratch.
Yeah, and I still find the balancing part a bit tricky.
Yeah, the balancing is especially tricky on this plane. We used a 2mm wire to make this landing gear, but that is perhaps still not really firm enough. It needs to be maybe even a bit thicker wire, because it's still sort of leaning to and fro.
It needs to be strengthened.
Yeah, so maybe, I mean, either
thicker
the design
wire.
is not up to scratch, or maybe use a thicker wire. 2mm is really not enough, I don't think. We've also used 2mm wire on all the push rods that control the surfaces. So you've got 2mm wire here to control the surfaces as well. That is probably sufficient, but for the actual landing gear, maybe go a thicker wire.
We are not using any wheel on the tail end.
Yeah, there's no wheel at the tail.
Only the rudder has been strengthened.
Yeah, so we put carbon fibre on that. And that's another thing, we didn't use barbecue skewers. I had plenty of carbon fibre tube lying around, so we used carbon fibre for reinforcement rather than the barbecue skewers.
Hope we schedule it for testing.
Yeah, we gotta do our maiden flight pretty soon.
Sure. If it flies, the credit goes to him.
No,
if
to
it
him,
doesn't,
to
if
him.
it doesn't,
He
you
made
know
it.
who to blame.
He made the plane, so it's all credit to Dad. That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
Anything else to say about it? What do you think of the actual plane? It looks really nice, doesn't it?
It looks cute.
It's a
It looks like a
nice
baby.
looking plane.
But I hate to call it Blender.
Yeah, that's a different story.
There might be our effort.
We can give it a
skill
different
has-
name.
No, but I'm putting it the other way around. Your guidance, your skill, my efforts, they have blended into this cute looking thing.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it as well. But I mean, we can name it anything we want. You still have to paint it.
All right, we'll choose a good name other than the Blender.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
All right, let's hope for the best.
Yeah, we'll hopefully be maidening this soon, and you will hopefully see the video of that shortly as well. Okay, cheers.